All right, you're on.
Started? Perfect. Well, welcome to the call. Just to let you know that I'm driving back from one of my daughters, actually my middle daughter's softball game, or tournament, I should say. We were down in Beatrice. As you can see, the sun's out. We didn't have any of that. The girls played hard. As you can see, I think every single one of these girls are probably sleeping on their way home. They brought some hardware home. So anyways, I want to get this thing started. I got to go through some announcements today. Promotions, I want to go through that real quick. LifeVantage always does an amazing job on promotions. So whatever you do, take advantage of it, because I'm telling you, I mean, they're always trying to put a little extra money in your pocket, and it's how they do that is they're rewarding a behavior that we're already doing. So what they've got is their 10-year anniversary promotion, which is an enrollment promotion. And how that works is if you're the highest enroller in the United States or a different country, but for us, obviously it's the United States, this runs towards until the end of this month. They will reward you with $2,500 at Elite Academy, Kansas City, which that's pretty cool. They did this a few months back. It went over really well. Actually, we had a lot of teammates that were in the running. So whatever you do, get out there and enroll. And listen, they're going to pay you a little extra cash too. So that's what's pretty cool. So if you enroll platinum, you get $15 extra on that enrollment. A gold, you get 10, and then a silver, you get $5. And what's really cool too, they knocked the price off. So they're giving the starter kit for free. So they're actually getting that starter kit. So you get $50 off that starter kit. So make sure you take advantage of that promotion. That, like I said, goes to the end of this month, June 30th. So let's get after it. Reminder, we have a little promotion going to put a little extra cash, spending cash for anybody that's down at Elite Academy. I'm really excited to announce that we're right at 120 people registered on this team. So it's amazing. We're going to have a great time. I can't wait. We're actually still trying to line up a venue, but we should have that done soon. As soon as we know what that is, we're going to have like a little get together with our team. But listen, LifeVantage it is amazing. I'm telling you. So inspirational, educational, it's all of the above. That's why you go to these events, and you'll understand. It'll justify why you're doing this business, and you can learn more about the products, and it's so much more. So, and how that works, I don't really go into too many details. I want to get to Greg. I guess I'll just tell you where you can find it. Go to our team Facebook pages. So go there and then go underneath the events tab, and it will spell out exactly how you can earn that $150 cash. All right. It's based off enrollments too. So just go look at that, and then I'll explain it. And if you don't understand, reach out to us, one of us. Okay. Just so that you can take advantage of that. I know that we already had a winner that got two free nights at the hotel, I believe it was, and their Elite Academy tickets paid. So congratulations. So that is our announcements. So make sure you get registered for Kansas City. That's just coming like here in about a month and a half, almost just a month. Can you believe it? It goes so fast. Like we were just down in Charleston. So get there. So like I said, we had 120 people. So it's so exciting. I can't wait to get down there. I want to turn this over to this special gentleman. I'm telling you, Greg he's been with us, Bridget and I, and a lot of our teammates that got started, a few years back. He was actually a Pro 7 at the time. He's now currently a Pro 9. The good news is he's our upline. So you can get nuggets from him. You can reach out to him. So I'm telling you, he's such a great resource. And he's been in this industry for a long, long time. And so make sure you have your notes out and your pens and pencils ready, because I'm telling you, he's going to tell you some good nuggets tonight, how to build your business and how to use these amazing products to do that. He just came back from a conference, and let alone all his experience. Greg he's from Elizabeth, Colorado. Which is just outside of Denver, just so you guys know. Like I said, he's currently a Pro 9. So we're pretty excited about having you on, Greg. I don't know if you're out there, because I can't see you. I'm driving, but
I'm here.
Good.
I'm here, Jeremy.
Greg, I'm going to turn this over to you. Thank you so much for getting on tonight. I can't wait for you. There's a lot of new people that are on here that might not know who you are. So I can't wait to introduce yourself and let people know what you know and who you are.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate the invitation to be here tonight, and thanks for the great introduction. I've loved working with you and Bridget from day one, as well as so many of your team members You've been a real blessing to me, and to our entire team. So, I'm going to throw the credit back where the credit's due, and that credit's due on you guys for all the hard work you put in, all the discipline, all the consistency, doing all the things it takes, demonstrating the right behaviors again and again and again. And that's why you've had the level of success you've had. And I know you're very close to hitting elite status. I cannot wait to see you guys as elites. You certainly have earned it. You worked hard at it, and I'm excited to see it there. So thanks for your invitation here tonight. Jeremy gave me about 30 minutes to talk, and I don't know how I'm going to keep it to 30 minutes because, to be honest with you, I've probably got about 3 hours of prepared material. Not really, but I could go that long if I needed to. For those of you who don't know me, just know that I'm the luckiest and blessed guy on the planet. The fact that this business was introduced to me 10 years ago, December, is unbelievable, because at the time I was in horrific financial condition. I was coming off of the third layoff I'd had in my life from corporate America. In the process, we lost our home, we lost our savings, we lost our retirement, we lost everything but our pride. And one day I'm in my chiropractor's office, and he says to me, "Greg, what are you doing tonight?" And I said, "Nothing." "Why?" And he said, "Well, you come back to my office at 6:30. I got something I want to share with you." That's all he said. Didn't say anything else. Didn't say Lifandes, didn't say Protandim, didn't say superoxide dismutase, Dr. McCord, any of those other things. He just said, "I have something I want to share with you." And I tell you that story because I had a lot of credibility for that person. And since he asked, I showed up. I showed up, I saw the plan, blown out of my mind, excited, even though I really didn't know what I was looking at. It's not my science and health and wellness was not my bailiwick at the time. Thankfully, I've learned a lot in the meantime. But I knew it was something that was unique and special, and I knew that I wanted to do it. But I also knew I didn't have the money to do it. In fact, I was at the point where my wife and I were selling trees off of our property every month, about 10 trees a month, in order to pay our bills, but literally to put diesel in the pickup and food in the refrigerator. And so it was tough. It was tough. If it hadn't been for my wife's good job, I was in a real bad way. I did have a job at the time. I had, after recovering from losing a $250,000 a year job with corporate America, I ended up going to work for our county sheriff as the county dog catcher. Wasn't exactly the greatest job in the world, but it was an opportunity to help people every day. And it was something. It was better than nothing. But at the same time, corporate America turned its back on me, and those 18, 20 years of six-figure incomes, they could have cared less about. Nobody wanted me, and I knew I had to change and do something different. So when this opportunity was put in front of me, guess what? I wanted it, and I wanted it bad, but I was broke. I didn't have any money. The only way I was going to come up with the $1,000 it took to get in the business is if I was creative. Well, it just so happened I had one tree that the guy I'd been selling trees to had offered me $1,000 for, but my wife had said no. And she had said no because it sat in the front yard of our house. So she was kind of partial to it. And it was a beautiful tree, but nonetheless, I saw it as my key, my out to get into business and start doing something for myself. Long story short, the first person I called was Steve, the tree guy. He said, "Yes, I still want it." I said, "Great, be there in the morning with a check for $1,000 and your tree spade, it's yours." And then I had to go home and tell my wife. I'm not going to lie to you, the conversation did not go well. And especially because this is a woman who had seen me fail at network marketing before. In fact, since 1978 to the time I got in this company 10 years ago, I'd been in 7 different network marketing companies. And I guess you could call me a 7-time failure because I never made enough money to even cover my expenses in any of those 7 companies. And so for me to be able to have to stand there and tell her, "Hey, I'm going to sell your tree out of your front yard and do this again," wow. Let's just say things were rough around our house for a few days. But in the end, she trusted my judgment, and she trusted where I was going. And so if you've ever heard the story that somebody sold a tree out of their front yard to get in the business, it's me. You got that guy. And I tell that story because anybody who wants in this business bad enough will get creative enough. You will do something off the wall, outside the guardrails, and you'll find a way. So for the people that say, "Well, I don't have the money and I can't afford it," well, I have to question sometimes, are they just coming up with a reason to say no? Because if you want it and want it bad enough, guess what? You're going to find a way. I know I did. And I've seen a lot of other people do creative things as well. So anyway, that started a long run. We went to work hard, fast, crazy, all out massive action. 10 months later, we got our first 5-figure check. 13 months later, we turned elite distributor, and 18 months in, I'm retiring from the sheriff's office on 4 times what the sheriff paid me. It was a blessing beyond blessing to be in that position and make that happen. And since then, we've just continued to work and continued to share and do a lot of things, learned a lot in the process, and have grown our business. And so when I tell you I'm the luckiest and blessed guy on the planet, I truly do mean that. I consider myself so fortunate every day. And it's I don't know even what to tell you. I thank God every day for putting me in this position, because I certainly think he had a hand in putting me in this position without question. So anyway, so let's get into some of the subject matter I want to talk about today. And I'm gonna kind of be all over the place because I really want to talk to you guys about a week ago, 2 weeks ago in Dallas at A&MP. I also want to throw out some nuggets that I think will help your business. And so I'm going to have to fly fast, since we're probably already 10 minutes, 12 minutes into this, and share some information with you. But interestingly enough, I want you to know that when I came back, I went to an event 2 weeks ago called A&MP. A&MP is the Association of Network Marketing Professionals. It is a international group. It's people belong to it. They put on events, and it's all professionals. It's all people that take this industry seriously, and the great majority of that are members are doing this full time. There's very few part-time people that are part of this, because usually the only way people can afford to do this kind of thing is to be into it. Go to events like this is to be into it full time and making that kind of an income. And so anyway, I get home from that, and I got 2 or 3 questions from people asking me, well, why are you going to an event like this? And here was my answer, because I want you guys to understand that I think training is the most important thing we can do. We've all heard it. Your check can only grow as much as you grow. So you've got to do what you need to do in order to grow yourself. And whether that's reading books, listening to audibles, motivational videos, business videos, attending conferences, whatever, you've got to do whatever you got to do. Now, me, I love LifeVantage training, and I'll never miss an event, never ever. I think it is a foundational part of the business, and I'm expecting the same from you guys. I'm expecting every one of you to never miss a LifeVantage event, because it is what we do. It is part of being a professional network marketer, is you go to events. But let's be honest. The training we get within LifeVantage is focused very carefully on LifeVantage. It's focused on our products, our people, our systems, how we do things. And so it's a little less of, if you will, what I would call industry training. And so organizations like A&MP, organizations like Eric Worre's GoPro, there's a new event out this year called the Top Summit. These are all top leaders in the industry, million-dollar earners for the most part, on the bottom end, many of them. I was probably the lowest paid guy in the room in Dallas. And the reality is these guys are willing to share their knowledge. They're willing to share their experience with anybody in the room in order to help them grow, because they recognize that if we're growing, it grows the entire industry, which helps them grow. It helps the credibility. And I happen to think this is the most incredible industry in the world to be part of, and I want to be part of that movement. I want to be part of growing myself and growing the industry at the same time, and that's why I took the time and the money to go down and go to this event, and why I've gone to so many of Eric Worre's events and other things is very simply because I think it's important to take your skills to that next level. You see a lot of leaders in our company right now that are getting involved, have become ambassadors for John Maxwell. They're doing things with Andy Andrews. Brian Tracy, who's coming to Kansas City, has a program. We've got some people part of the Brian Tracy program. We got a number of people part of Eric Worre's program. Why? Because it exposes you to other folks. Now, can every one of you guys do that? No, you're not at that level yet. But I'm going to tell you, when you get to that level where you financially you can afford to do that, you've got to think about expanding your horizon. You've got to think about expanding your teaching opportunities, because that stuff you get to come back now and you get to share with your team and make your team a better team. So it's not about you. It's about what can you learn to bring that back to your team. So I hope that little explanation helps you, because somewhere along the way, you're going to be that person. You're going to be the one that's going to be making the decision to attend Eric Worre's Beyond Leadership, or you're going to, or GoPro, or ANMP, or any number of other things that have the possibility out there. Just pick quality programs that have good reputations, have got good referrals on them, and you can learn from, because somewhere along the line, you really, really, really will benefit from it. And if you benefit from it, bring it back to your team and they'll benefit. So today I'm going to share some of that with you. Jeremy had asked me today to talk about some nuggets about building the business and using our product to build the business. And I'm going to kind of weave that into this conversation. But what I really want to do is I want to share with you a number of things that I learned or I heard in ANMP. Some of them are things I've heard before, but I've heard them in a different way this time around. But anyway, let me get to sharing all that information. We'll weave it together, and if nothing else, at the end we'll have a Q&A session if we still got time. Before I start, however, I would be remiss if I did not reach out and congratulate somebody, because I'm staring at Shauna's bright, shiny face on my screen right now. There she goes. She came live. There you are. Look at that smile. You cannot knock the. You know what put that smile on her face? A Jeep. A Jeep ran over her and put that smile on her face. And only thing I'm going to tell you guys is, it was one of my proudest days to have the company award me that Jeep. I was blessed to be one of the initial group, that first 55 they gave away in Denver a number of years ago. And forever, I'll be able to say in this industry, I was one of the first ever to have a company hand me the keys and the title and say, it's yours. It's not a lease. It's not a loan. No obligation. It's just yours. And so, Shauna, I guarantee you're feeling the same excitement I felt when that happened. Unfortunately, they didn't deliver them right to my door, though. They made me go down to the convention center and pick it up. So I don't know, but I want you to know I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you and your husband both, your entire team. You've worked so hard for so long, diligently. You've earned it. You didn't just get it awarded to you. You earned that Jeep. And I'm thrilled to see you guys choose a Jeep instead of something else. I think the Jeep's a great symbol about our company. It's an American-made vehicle, first of all. Secondly, it's designed to go anywhere, both on and off the road, which means we can do anything we want. And so I'm thrilled to see you become one of the Jeep family. And I only wish I'd known about it. Had I known about it, I just might have jumped in my Jeep and driven up there to join you for the celebration. But we'll celebrate in Kansas City. How's that sound, okay? So anyway, for those of you who are part of Shauna's team, thank you for all the hard work you put in. For Jeremy and Bridget showing leadership to this entire organization, thank you. Couldn't be prouder. Now, let's get some more elites. Let's get some more Jeeps in your team, because I know you've got the people. I know you got the skills. So anyway, Shauna, congratulations. We'll celebrate in Kansas City, okay? Fair enough? All right. To you, dear. All right, so let's hit the road. Let's talk first of all about what I heard at ANMP that I think you guys need to hear. Some of these are just going to be one-liners and quotes from people. But let's just face it, the people that were on stage at ANMP, no one was less than $1 million earner. No one. And most of them were $1 million a month earners. Not small potatoes, folks. These are serious names. And you're going to recognize a bunch of these names as I go through. But I will tell you, one of the most interesting presentations was the first one that opened the event. And it was by a guy named Gordon Hester. And if you've never heard of Gordon Hester, that's okay. Don't let that bother you. He works for the Direct Sales Association. So as a member of this DSA staff, he came and brought a ton of brand new statistics to share with the entire audience about where the industry is going. Not only dollars, but enrollments, distributors versus customers, all kinds of things, talking about the impact of what's happening in the global economy and the global workforce, if you will, and how that's affecting us. And so I'm going to share just a few of his tidbits, but I'm going to tell you now, it was powerful. And here's what I want you to take away. We're in a fantastic spot. This industry is growing. Without a question, it is growing, which is good for us, because that creates all the more credibility for what it is we do every day. I think we're in a fantastic position, fantastic industry. I'll never walk away from this. This is what I'm going to do till the day I die. And I know that we all face it from people. We all face that question. Well, oh, it's network marketing. Well, guess what? It is network marketing, and we love it because it's an awfully good thing to be part of. Some things from Gordon. 30-year trend up in this industry. 30 consecutive years, guys. We all know what graphs look like. He put the graph up for the last 30 years of the industry, and the line just went straight up. It never failed. It just kept going up. What does that tell you? We're in a great spot, and the industry is growing. We need to know that. What are we in the business of? Guys, we're in the business of selling products. I mean, a lot of you guys think of me as the business guy, that all I do is push business, business, business. Well, guess what? Products are business. Customers are business. Customers was a huge theme. We're going to talk about that throughout this deal. But the reality is, if we're not moving products to consumers, we don't have a business. We don't have an industry. So our goal is to move as much product as we possibly can to the right people, solving the right problems in their lives. And that's exactly what we do. Today, our biggest battle in that industry, quite honestly, is the gig economy. We heard this from presenter after presenter after presenter, because the gig economy is exploding. It's absolutely exploding. I think one of the presenters later, a couple of days in, talked about how there's 44 million people in the United States alone looking for a side gig every year. Now think about that for a second. There's only 321 million people live in this country, and 44 million of them are looking for a side gig. Wow. We got to get on that. We have to get those people to us first before they pick Uber or Lyft, before they pick Airbnb, before they pick, a side job at the local restaurant, whatever. We've got to get to those people and share with them this amazing business, this amazing opportunity, and these incredible products, because that it's exploding. It's getting bigger all the time. The bad news was the network marketing industry is not keeping pace with the gig economy. More and more people in that gig economy are going elsewhere instead of coming to us. So when you've heard leaders from our company in the past talk about our competition is the gig economy, guess what? It is. And we heard this time and time and time again. So it's up to us to get out there and share and get our fair share of that pile. But if there's 44 million people out there looking for a side gig, guess what? We need to be the ones out there chasing them down. And I look at it this way. Customers, in my opinion, are every bit as important as going after the people that want that side gig. Darren Jensen said in the last couple of leadership calls we've had that 67% of the people that are distributors in LifeVantage today started out as a customer. Wow, that's pretty stout. So, I mean, we all know. Go find yourself 20 customers. Go find yourself 50 customers. Go make a goal to put one customer a week in your business for the rest of the year. That's 50 customers in your business if you go for a full 12 months. And if 67% of our distributors came from customers, I'm not saying 67% will convert, but what if 10 of the 50 did? What if 12 of the 50 did? And you put one brand new distributor in your business every month. There's some people out there doing that already just by straight recruiting, but there's a lot that aren't. Let's get out there and do that. Let's get those customers in there, create those super excited people, and watch them say, hey, I love this so much, I want to share it with other people, and turn that into a distributorship. A lot of conversation at that event about the Federal Trade Commission, and I loved what Gordon Hester said. He goes, you know what the FTC means? It means freedom through customers. There's a lot of companies out there that are in trouble with the FTC right now because they've got a huge overload of distributors versus customers. We don't have that. We're the other way around. We're 80% plus on the customers. We need to keep it that way. So customers, I love them. You love them. We all do. Let's keep going after customers because we absolutely need to be doing that. He said the biggest thing we need to do to be successful in the gig economy is bring an experience. He said there's a lot of people that are choosing other parts in the gig economy because they look at it new people a day, every one of those is an experience. So, let's focus on when people come here, give them a good experience. Make sure we get them started right. Make sure that we introduce them right to everybody. Make sure we include them in team events and everything else so that they see it as an extremely positive experience. And I think that's one of the things we can benefit from hearing from these guys is that let's make it an experience. Taylor Worry was one of the speakers. My opinion is he did as good or better job than anybody that was there. And I'm going to tell you the one quote I took away from him that I think was the best quote of the entire week. He closed his speech by asking the following question. He said, I want you to ask every one of yourselves this question. Am I acting as a ship to our future or an anchor to our past? I want you guys to write that down. Am I acting as a ship to our future or as an anchor to our past? We can't do things the way we did them 10 years ago and be successful in this gig economy. We just can't do it. Not in this social media environment. We can't do it. We have to do things differently. So ask yourself, is that what I'm doing? Am I being an anchor or am I being a ship carrying us forward? I know this, I'm a lot more focused right now than I've ever been. And everything I do, I'm asking myself, am I being a ship for our company's future, our team's future, or am I being an anchor that's holding them back? Let's see. A lot of conversation about the people you're around, your circle of closest 5 people. 4 or 5 different speakers talked about the fact that we as network marketers have got to police the people we're around and make sure that we're spending our time with positive, upbeat believers in what we're doing and not people to drag us down because there's too much of that happening out there today. Anthony Napolitano was one of the speakers. I'd never heard of Anthony before, but he was a great, energetic Italian. Really enjoyed him. And he had an interesting perspective where he said, in this business, you must see it before it happens. You must have a vision. And he made the comment, he said, I have a 20-year perspective on where I'm going with my business. And interestingly enough, this kind of tags into something I feel very strongly about, and that is, I had somebody come to me a few months ago, and he said, well, Greg, I've never heard you talk about your why. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you. The reason I don't talk about my why is I don't have one. And they looked at me incredulously, and they said, how can you not and be at the level you're at? And I said, well, I had a short-term why when I first got into business, but I said that why morphed to a vision. I have a vision now of where we're going to be, we, the company, are going to be in 5 years, where I'm going to be in 5 years, where we, the company, are going to be in 10 years, and where I'm going to be in 10 years, where the position that I and my wife are going to be in to benefit other people and care for other people and donate to organizations and support things that are important to us, not just taking care of us, but who else can we help both inside and outside of LifeVantage. So I have this really long-term vision about where I want to go and what I want to do. It's less of a why than what it started out as. Because what it started out as is I was dead broke. Couldn't pay my bills. I mean, every month we were, if the phone rang, you want to talk to a bill collector, you just had to answer the phone. They were calling. We're just balancing ourselves month after month. And it took a little while, but we finally got to the point where we were able to take a deep breath and not have to battle over what do we pay and what do we not pay. So I kind of got away from that why, and once my business started to grow, I said, wow, this has got a huge capability, and that's when I morphed. I transitioned into having a long-term vision. So I really related to what Anthony had to say. He was real big on actions predicting results. He said, I can tell you now, if you know what the proper behaviors are to build your business, if you're taking those actions and exhibiting those proper behaviors, you will see the results. Success leaves clues. So does failure. Without a question, you can tell if somebody's succeeding, why. And if they're not succeeding, you can also tell why. So write down, actions predict results. That's important. He gave the best simple analogy, an explanation of what industry we're in when he said, network marketing is this simple. He said, we, the distributors, purchase a product and fall in love with it. We just think it's the best thing in the world. He said, then we turn around and we share that with other people and we get paid for it. Think about that. That's what we do. We've fallen in love with this company. We've fallen in love with the products. We've fallen in love with the science. We've fallen in love with the future it's bringing us. Guess what? We turn around, we share that with other people because we're excited about it, and along the way we get paid for it. Let's not make it too complex. Let's keep it simple. Don't confuse ourselves. Dr. Luis Arizada, very good. He was a college professor before he became a network marketer. One of his good quotes was, if you want to double your business, you have to triple your education. If you want to double your business, you have to triple your education. This is a self-development business. We must be reading. We must be watching. We must be listening to. And you know what? We must be listening to ourselves, because we have to be very careful about self-talk. We talk to our own minds about, our own brains, our own hearts. And what do we say? What are the words that are uttering out of our mouth? Because those are the ones that are going to either make us or break us. Let's see. Let me jump forward here. Several people brought up a concept, if you haven't heard of it, called 80-15-5. And basically what that said was, we need to understand as leaders that 80% of the people that get in network marketing are people looking for the gig economy again, okay? And that gig economy is $500 a month. 80% of the people that joined our team are going to be, you know what? I'm thrilled if I can get $500 a month. I'll be ecstatic off the wall if I get 1,000, but guess what? That's all those people are looking for. They're not looking for anything else. So let's give them what they want. Let's give them what they came for. If they change their goals later, that's up to them. But if they're that 80% that are only looking for $500, maybe $1,000 a month, let's do whatever we have to do to help them get to that level. The 15% are looking for $5,000 a month. They're looking to make a substantial change in their lifestyle and or potentially replace their plan A depending on what they're doing. Well, 5 times 12 is 60,000. The mean income in the United States is $52,500 a year. So for most people, $5,000 a month is going to replace their plan A. So that's 15%. And then there's 5% of us that we want $50,000 a month or more. We're the people that have huge visions, huge ideas, that we want to take care of our families, we want to take care of our friends, we want to take care of our churches, our schools, all those kinds of things. That's only 5%. And I know that I'm guilty. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm guilty about talking to people way too early and way too often about becoming an elite distributor. And I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to get much, much better at talking to people about, what do you want? Is it only 500? Is it 1,000? Is it 15? Is it 25? Tell me what you want. And then let's find a way to get you there. And once we get them there, then the question becomes, are you happy? If you're not happy and you decide you want more, well, let's talk about that next level. So think of it that way, 80, 15, and 5. 80% are looking for that gig economy income. 15% are looking to replace a plan A or match a plan A. And 5% are looking to blow it out of the park, all right? I can look around this screen of pictures and I know who those 5%ers are. I know, because I've talked to you guys. I know what you want. So I'm going to treat you differently when I'm helping you than I am the person that only wants to make an income or only wants to make a little bit of side money. We've got to all get better at doing that. And that's industry-wide. We're talking about that was for the entire industry. Another great quote I love from him was, every time you take an action to take a vote, you take a vote to improve yourself and make yourself the best you can be. Every time you take an action, you take a vote to improve yourself and improve you the best you can be. Action creates results. That's how we get to that position. All right. Let's see here. Another great quote from John Haresma. People who enter this industry, they enter it on faith. Our job is to help them make the transition from faith to belief. Most of them are just going, I hope this works. I hope I can make that $500 gig economy income. I hope I can get this to the point where I can quit my plan A because I hate my boss, I hate my job, I hate my life, whatever. Okay, they come in here on faith that they made a good choice. Our job is to help them make that transition from faith to belief and show them how to get it done. You guys are good at that. Keep doing what you're doing, because the growth you guys are seeing and the success you're seeing tells me that you believe in that. So help people transition from that faith to belief. There was a CEO panel. I had 6 CEOs from different companies that were there. Don't remember any of them off the top of my head, but I will tell you that very lively conversation about how excited they were to be there and hear what we were saying, so they could go back to their corporate teams and try to help them understand better how to build a company that supports the field force. That's why one of the reasons why Taylor Worry was there. And Taylor said he took back a ton of information that he was going to share with Darren and the others. But very, very exciting to see that they were part of that. It was a good conversation. Nicola Smith Jackson, you are leveraging or you're being leveraged. Think about that. You're either leveraging other people or they're leveraging you. It's just the way life works. Okay, if you want to build a massive business, we have to be the one doing the leveraging, without a doubt. In every adversity is the seed of greater original good, greater or equal good. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble reading my own notes. I was writing really fast. In every adversity is the seed of greater or equal good. We're all going to fight challenges in this business, every one of them. Some of the challenges are small and some of the challenges are large. Let's just understand it's going to happen, and be prepared for it, because it's coming. We don't get away from it. You must start your own journey by believing you are capable of some extraordinary good. I know there's some people I see on the screen right now. I've seen them demonstrate extraordinary good. The more we do of that, guys, the bigger our teams are going to grow, the more people's lives we're going to change in a positive way. And we've got to make a decision to set ourselves apart. And by doing that, we have got to make a decision to set ourselves apart. Show confidence. It's a foundation. We've got to show confidence in our people, confidence in ourselves, confidence in our team. And when you do that, without a question, your team is going to grow. A lot of talk that week about being relationship builders. This is not a transactional business. We're not there to sell somebody something, walk away. Be a relationship builder. They had a couple of attorneys speak, and now both attorneys talked about the same 2 things that I want to make a quick point about, and that is the Federal Trade Commission, who's the top cop regulating all of us, is very keen on the fact that there's a lot of network marketers out there that are making income claims. And they fall in one of 2 categories, what they call express claims, which says, I made X dollars last month. I made $27,000 last month. That's one, that's express. And then what they call implied claims. And this is a little wider berth. Implied claims are people that you're giving people the impression that your income from the company gave you something. So for example, you're taking pictures in front of a $250,000 yacht, taking pictures in front of $1 million mansion, taking pictures in front of, a pair of brand new BMWs. Those are called implied claims. We're implying that that company put me in that position. We all need to be careful about that. Shauna, you can stand in front of your Jeep because it's true, okay? But the reality is we got to be careful about that. Let's be careful about how we do the implied claims, because that's some of what got the Advocare folks in trouble, was income claims. And it's too bad how that whole thing went down, but man, I'll tell you what, it's a learning for us. And, a lot of that, what came out of that, by the way, tells me that LifeVantage is doing things the right way. So congratulations to every one of you guys for doing what you're doing. Don't forget to bring your heart to what you do. This is a heart business. We're here to help other people. And as long as we're focused on their check and not our own, guess what? It's going to work. But bring your heart to everything you do, and it'll make all the difference in the world. Logan Stout, new guy I had not heard of before, but has 30 years of experience in the industry, talked about what he called the 3 stages of life. He said the first stage is a bit called a mess. And he said you just have to remember that your mess can become a powerful message. It's part of building your story. He said the second part of life is comfortable. And he said just remember, though, that nothing successful comes from your comfort zone. You've got to get out of it. The third part is being non-negotiable in life. You have to be non-negotiable about being what he called a level 10 leader. And he wasn't talking about life vantage. He's just talking about it in a general sense of things. If it starts at 1 and goes to 10, is being a level 10 leader. And here's how you do that. You bring a level 10 attitude. You bring a level 10 effort by leading by example, and you have a level 10 focus. So it's attitude, effort, and focus. Those are the 3 things that are absolutely required if you're going to carry yourself onto that next level. Getting down toward the end of these here. I love this one quote. David Inamati said, "I can't wait for 1 million people to quit on me." And the room got real quiet, and he goes, "Because if that happens," he said, "I had to have at least 1 million sign up to have 1 million quit." He goes, "How many of you in this room want 1 million signups?" Every hand in the room went up high. We're all looking for 1 million people to sign up, right? So he said, if I ever get 1 million people to quit, he goes, I had to at least get 1 million people to sign up at one point in time. I thought that was pretty creative, the way he put that. Nobody has big success without being crushed at some point. Something's going to happen. It's how you react when it happens. When that crushing event happens, just remember, it's part of growth in this industry. Don't be surprised. And just remember, you need to be the person standing next to someone when they get crushed. When you see somebody in your team, suffer an ordeal, be the person standing next to them and supporting them and believing in them. No matter what happens, you need to lift them up and tell them you believe in them. Social media. You do not know Ray. He is a master in social media. He and his wife, Jessica, the entire day was dedicated to multiple social media experts, including our own Rachel Jackson, people that are killing it. They're knocking it out of the park. Some of the advice they gave was, first of all, number one, if you don't know how to do it the right way, don't do it. Find someone to teach you how to do social media. And if you have to pay somebody, pay a consultant, whatever, get with another person on your team, do whatever it takes, but find somebody that you admire in social media and learn how to do it the right way. You'll do more damage doing it wrong than you can possibly imagine. So do it the right way. Number one thing, only master one platform at a time. If you want to start with Facebook, start with Facebook. Get really, really good at Facebook. Master your social media presence on Facebook before, for example, you go after Instagram. So master one of them at a time and learn them. So anyway, let's see here. Show up in your Facebook Live, your Facebook profile, exactly the way you do in life. You don't have to be anybody special. Just be yourself. People are going to read it. If you're not being yourself, they're going to know it. Angel Fletcher said that, and she was doing a Facebook Live in her pajamas. And I had to laugh because she came on stage in her pajamas. Why? Because she says, I almost do all my Facebook Lives in my pajamas. She said, why should I do anything else? She said, it's me. She said, if I put on a slick suit and come up here in a suit and high heels, everybody that sees me is going to know that's not Angel Fletcher. Angel Fletcher's a lady that shows up with the tousled hair all over the place and in her pajamas. Well, she's $1 million a month plus earner, and I guess when you're at that level, you can show up in whatever you want to wear. But be yourself. Be exactly who you are. Every 10 seconds, somebody joins this industry. Every 10 seconds. You know something? The only reason they're not joining our team is we didn't get to them first. Somebody did, and somebody convinced them they had the right gig economy answer to their need to make money. That's why we've got to get out there and we've got to be sharing like crazy with people. We've all heard this statement. In order to get more yeses, we have to get more nos. A big challenge got thrown out, and the answer was no. You don't want nos, you want yeses. If you want to get more yeses, go get more yeses. How do you do that? Get better at what you do. Get better at telling the story. Get better at telling your story. Get better at asking questions from people and solving their problems, because you're looking for yeses. You're not looking for no's. Stop looking for no's. I can remember when people used to say, well, I got 10 no's in a row. That means I'm all that much closer to a yes. Well, if you did 10 lousy presentations, you're nowhere closer to a yes. So if you've gotten 10 no's in a row, let's take a step back. Let's talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it. Maybe we need to change our approach, because we're not getting yeses. The right approach gets yeses, because you're asking the right questions, you're providing the right information, and you're solving the right situations for people. So if you want to get more yeses, get more yeses. Get better at what you do, without a doubt. Let's see here. If you're going to go international, long discussion on international, burn your backyard up first. That was every successful international distributor there said. Burn up your backyard first, then go after international. Because once you sign up someone in another foreign country, guess what? You own them. It's now your time to support them. So make sure that if you're going to work on international, take care of your own backyard first and be ready to support that person in another country. Don't be afraid if you're to join a local organization for another country. So let's say, for example, we were going to launch Korea in 3 months. Go find your local Korean American church, your local Korean American civic organization. Go meet some people. Start building some connections within that community here that you can leverage to go over there. I think that's a great idea. We should all be doing more and more of that. This is a business of reaching out and helping people, helping them reach their goals. Many times it's that local person, you're helping them with their goals, that's going to get you to that international person, without a doubt. A big hint for those of you who go international: if you do something international, especially in Europe and Asia, and you're over there with your team, and you're taking pictures, the leader always stands in the back. They said never stand in the front, you'll get a bad reputation. So just kind of remember that tidbit. If you're over there and you're with a group of people and they're going to take a picture at dinner, go stand in the back, because the leader always, in those countries, the leader always stands in the back. Tiffany Mallett, big presentation on telling stories, getting better at telling stories than we used to. And she said it's all about stopping selling and start telling stories. The more stories we can tell, the more people will relate to us, and the more they'll want to do business with us. It won't have to sell, it will sell itself. But you've got to be good at telling your story, your company story, and your product story in the process of doing that. It makes you connect with more people. And they even had some facts on it from a study that said they've proven that when you talk facts to people, it only activates 2 parts of the brain in processing when it's decoding the words. But stories activate multiple other parts of the brain, including the sensory cortex and the motor cortex. So get good at telling stories so you activate those parts of the brain, because those are the parts of the brain that are going to move someone forward to make a choice and making decisions. When you're telling your story, never change your story. Your story is always your story. Don't ever be ashamed of it. Your story is what it is. Just tell your story and you'll be fine. Use stories to promote events. I mean, Jeremy talked earlier about Kansas City, which is great. We all want to go to Kansas City. Tell stories about events. The story I love to tell about my story is the very first I got into business, Life Annie's business, in December of 2009. The first event after that was in February of 2010. We took 26 people, or 23 people, I think it was, went with us to Salt Lake City for that first event we went to. Our next event, 3 months later, we had 88 people at. 3 months after that, we had 186 people at that event. 3 months after that, because at that time we were doing events every 3 months. 3 months after that, we were in the 380 some numbers at it. The point being is we kept getting everybody on our team to go to every event, and that grew our business. Tell that story. Tell people, hey, the more people you get there, tell them a story about, somebody that got there, that went and got exactly what they were looking for and how their business exploded. But talk stories about events, and promote by telling a story. Don't promote by just saying, hey, it's Kansas City, you got to be there. Promote by telling a story about someone, you or someone, and how being at an event changed their business. So that's a whole lot of information. I want to wrap it up with 4 things about the themes I heard again and again and again. The themes we heard from that event were the gig economy. It's here, it's getting bigger, and it's growing faster. We need to take better advantage of that gig economy because people are looking for that side gig. Social media is powerful when done right, and we can't ignore it. If you're not doing social media, get with someone who is, that's doing it well, and get started. Start slow, take your time, but build up and do it the right way. You've got some really good people on your team right now that are doing social media. Reach out to those folks and talk to them because you've got to have it in there. If you've ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk is like the man when it comes to social media. And I got lucky enough to have lunch with him about 3 or 4 months ago. And he point blank told everybody sitting at the table, he said, if you're not doing social media, he said, 3 years from now, you're irrelevant, and 5 years from now, you're out of business. That's a pretty powerful statement from the #1 guy in that entire industry. He knows more about it than anybody else. So I know me, I'm doubling down my efforts because I'm not a social media guy, but I realize it's something I have to learn, it's something I have to do, it's something I have to get better at, it's something I have to support my team. So I'm focused on doing that myself. Customers are king was the 3rd one. Lots and lots and lots to talk about. Let's get as many customers as we can because that just helps our industry and our businesses. 4, stories. You heard me talk about stories. And the last thing is, this is a growing industry. Please be proud of your industry. Be so proud of what you're doing and who you're doing it with. You've got a fantastic company with fantastic products. For those of you who've never done network marketing before, I'm going to tell you now, after being a 7-time failure at 7 other companies, I look at this company here and say, I can see why at least I wasn't successful in those other companies. Other people were. That's what kept me coming back. But I can see why I wasn't successful there. Well, I don't have any of those excuses now. I have none of those excuses here because they have all the right things in the formula to be a success. And this business is growing, so let's all take advantage of that. So the last quote I will give you, I loved this quote from Rob Sperry. If you're trying to be everything to everyone, you'll end up being nothing to no one. Know who you are, know what you're good at, help people with what you're good at. If you're not good at something, either learn it or go find somebody else that is that can help those folks. But stop trying to be everything to everybody. I've been guilty of that. I'm working real hard not to ever do it again. When I don't know the answer, you're going to hear me say, guess what? I don't know the answer, but we'll help you find it. And I think that's entirely important. So how does that all fit into building your business? Well, I think #1, you got to believe in this industry. You have to believe in this industry. You got to know it's the greatest thing that you've ever done. #2, you got to believe in your company. I listened to a webinar not too long ago, and the speaker on it said, he said, you know something? He said, if you're scared to go out and share your company with somebody, go back and get more product training. Because he said, that tells me you don't believe in your products enough to share them. But get out, get the training, get the knowledge so you're never fearful of sharing your company before. Stories, get your story down good. Get a short story down you can tell in less than 2 minutes. Maybe a longer story you stand in front of a room, you tell in front of a crowd. But get your story down and be able to tell that story to people in a way that elicits emotion, gets them excited about what they're hearing from you because you want that sensory and motor cortex alive. And that's what that story is going to do for you. For those of you who've seen me do an LVA, many of you see me that I always start out with a joke. Why? Because I want people to laugh because it creates emotion. It makes that sensory and motor cortex start. If I figure if I can open the door a little bit, give me a crack, then I can work my way in with everything else. So get good at telling your story. Get good at getting those brains to fire off with that. The other thing is your events. Okay, we've talked about Kansas City, but I'll mention it one more time. Kansas City is a fantastic event. It's going to be our 10-year anniversary. We're only going to ever have one 10-year anniversary with this company. Be there. You're going to want to be part of it. There's going to be some special things that are going to happen. I'm super excited about that. You're going to be talking about that event for months after that event is over because of the things that the company's bringing to the table. And I'm just going to tell you, I mean, the only way I'm going to miss this one is if I'm dead. Other than that, I'm going to be in that room because I just don't want to miss any of it. I don't want you guys to miss any of it. I want to see every one of you when I get there. So anyway, I know I went over my limit. My apologies. We went a long time, but hopefully somebody found value in at least one thing tonight and can take that away, can use it. And I appreciate all of you that are still here after an hour. I appreciate every last one of you. So Bridget, thank you. Jeremy, thank you. Appreciate being on your team call tonight. You guys are fantastic. I love you, and I can't wait to see you in Kansas City.
Thank you so much, Greg. And I took 5 pages of notes, so everything was amazing. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time, because I know your time is precious as well. And I think everybody on the call got something out of this. And we are so excited to see you in Kansas City. Get registered, guys, because you still have time to get your name in for that drawing for $150 in cash to spend. So get registered this month or help your teammates get registered, guys. So have a great night. We love you all, and have a great week. We'll see you next week.
See you all. Thank you guys very much.